In 1955, a group of 8 children reported seeing strange creatures in an alien spaceship in the Casablanca neighborhood of Riverside, California.
Just want to give a special shout out to my friend Evan for suggesting this video idea, as it led me down a dark rabbit hole of UFO sightings and reports in California. But for now, let's just focus on Riverside. On August 22nd, 1955, a group of 8 children varying in ages were playing outside when they saw what was described as a large translucent dome floating above their heads. The object then vanished all at once, but was replaced seconds later by the stereotypical UFOs we've seen in media depictions. The next thing that happened, according to the children, was bright balls of light made of different colors appearing, accompanied by a high-pitched ringing noise. The orbs began to increase in size as they got closer to the ground, with some being the size of a house. But what the children said appeared next to these large house-like orbs is somehow even more shocking. The children described seeing a creature the size and shape of a child with red eyes, a large gaping mouth, and what appeared to be diamonds where its nose would be, and no feet, only stubs at the bottom of the creature's legs, if you could call them legs. Whatever it was also wearing a belt of some type of reflective device across its midsection that was producing an extremely bright light. All this while floating off the ground and being semi-translucent. Now, if you're checked out at this point, I think that's completely reasonable, considering the over-the-top details of this specific sighting. But I do have to warn you, the story gets even crazier as it goes on. According to one of the boys, other small saucers began to appear and started shooting rays of light down at them. Then another figure appeared from the large orb that the first odd creature came out of, but this figure apparently had multiple arms, 4 legs, and very white skin. Multiple children were then telepathically told by the new figure to climb up the tree so they could be transported away, but were stopped by the non-hypnotized boy spraying them with a garden hose. One of the boys floated up to the rooftop of a nearby house, then jumped off as instructed by the strange figure, but ultimately sustained no injuries. All at once the aliens then vanished, with the police and reporters arriving at the scene, where many of the boys were crying and extremely upset by what had just happened. Now I'll be frank with you guys, I don't believe this report or sighting at all. The main reason being the fact that there is no published police report or any type of newspaper publication detailing the events of the sightings or testimonials of the boys. Now see, a lot of people will say, well, there actually was a report, you can find it online. But that report was from the Borderlands Science Research Foundation, which is a non-profit organization primarily focusing on the occult, hypnosis, the idea that there's a realm in between the physical realm and spiritual realm, and you kind of get the idea. The second reason being that there's no follow-up on any of the boys reported in the reports. Now, 2 of them are specifically mentioned by name, that being Ronnie Strickland and Kirk Douglas. But let's say you search up Ronnie Strickland Riverside. You won't find any search results or any type of updates except the specific Casablanca sightings themselves. I mean, you could go full tinfoil hat conspiracy and say, well, that's because they were killed by the government. Or maybe the government relocated them somewhere so they couldn't tell their story to other people. But in this case, I'm not so sure. And lastly, there were no adults that reported the sighting. Now, I don't think that's necessarily a smoking gun or should be used as definitive evidence, but when you factor that in with all the other red flags of this reported sighting, it doesn't paint a very good picture and obviously adds even more skepticism. One crazy thing that bolsters or hurts the sightings, depending on how you look at it, is that the infamous Kelly Hopkinsville Goblins encounter, one of the most famous alien accounts ever, happened on the same exact day as this reported incident. Now, you might already have your fingers on your keyboards or on your phone screen, ready to comment something like, wow, they're with us, so you don't believe in aliens, even though there's all this footage being released by the Pentagon and the US military showing that they very well could be real. Well, I would say I actually agree with you. I do think that there's a very good chance that they're real. And I also think there's a specific hotspot in California that has been prone to have high volumes of extraterrestrial activity.
What's up, guys? I'm here in Palos Verdes, looking for UFOs and seeing if there's any other type of aerial phenomenon here. We got our eyes in the skies. We're going to be seeing if anything interesting happens. And yeah, that's it. Sorry if this is kind of quiet. I gotta be quiet because I'm illegally parked right outside of a super rich residential neighborhood. And you're not supposed to park at this little lookout thing if it's like an hour after sundown. And it's like almost midnight here, so.
If you're familiar with UFOs at all, then you probably know about the infamous Tic Tac footage, which was recorded back in 2004 near San Clemente Island.
Nickel 6-1 Tango Roger, over.
Oh, got it! Woohoo!
Roger, there's troubleshooting as soon as I get
Did you box moving target?
602.
No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at that, man.
And if you're not, well, that's okay, because it happened again in 2023, once again near San Clemente Island.
You call it the BDSS team.
Wow, that's crazy. Two different UFO sightings, both in the same region, off the coast of Southern California, both captured by naval officers. That's got to be some crazy coincidence. Except for the fact that this actually happens all the time. You just don't know about it. Now, one interesting similarity that both of these sightings have in common is that the naval officers who seen it said they believed the craft was actually coming out of the water initially. It was initially submerged beneath the water and then came up and started flying through the sky. Now, that in itself might sound crazy compared to other UFO sightings people reference, but there's actually multiple reports of this happening. And by multiple, I mean hundreds to maybe even thousands. So if we didn't have enough to worry about with virus outbreaks and the threat of another world war happening at any time, we also have space invaders and space invaders from the sea, marine invaders. It sounds like that jump is kind of crazy at first, but when you look at all these sightings and as the days go by, it seems even more and more probable. Does that mean Atlantis is real? Holy shit. No way there's more. Catalina Island is not too far from San Clemente Island and has had its own reports of mysterious objects in the sky and sea. Ross Coulthart, an award-winning journalist, formerly with 60 Minutes Australia, is adamant that the general waters around Catalina Island are not just a spot these UFOs and USOs have been seen, but that it might be some type of underwater base.
The one thing that leapt out at me in your book, I've been taking a very close interest in Catalina Island, just off the coast of Los Angeles. And it strikes me that all through your first volume in your USO history, Catalina Island is clearly a UAP hotspot. What's going on?
Yes, that's right. The site of the Catalina wine mixer may be harboring advanced underwater crafts, at least according to Coulthart. His main evidence comes from research done by doctors and scientists associated with UAPX. UAPX is a scientific research organization focused on the study of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, founded in August 2019 by former U.S. Navy personnel Kevin Day and Gary Voorhees. The data they collected shows multiple cases of equipment failure over these waters, as well as thermal images of objects appearing to be bigger than any known submarine. I found it difficult to try and find any concrete proof of this online, but it does seem like at the least they're actively conducting this research as of today. Obviously, many people online have been skeptical about Coulthart's claims since there really isn't too much to go off at the current moment, other than theories and his word, with most people calling him and other avid USO believers grifters. It makes you wonder, though, considering he has over 200 videos about this topic, all over 30 minutes in length. I mean, At the least, the guy's definitely passionate about this research.
So one thing that's come up a few times now is the Navy. San Clemente Island is owned by the Navy. The people who are seeing these UFOs and UAPs are naval officers. The people in charge of these UFO or UAP tracking programs are all former high-ranking naval officers. It begs the question, how much does the U.S. military know about these sightings and this activity near Catalina Island? I'm not sure, but is there a chance that these UFOs, USOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, are actually high-grade military technology that the public doesn't know about yet? Because that might be even more terrifying when you really think about it. So, as you guys can see what I was saying, super rich residential neighborhood, beachfront property. If you guys can't tell, that's the ocean right there. See, there's a little buoy in the water. I'll zoom out so you guys can see it better. This is all of the ocean. And straight across from us, it's a little hard to see because the marine layer, there is Catalina Island over there off in the distance. So we do have some activity up here. That looks like a plane though. I don't think it's a UFO or extraterrestrial. There is something over here in the distance. I'm not sure if I can pick it up on my DJI camera. If not, I'll switch to my phone to see if I can get it. So that was the light out in the ocean I was referring to. Looks like it might just be like a buoy or maybe a light on a boat or something, but who knows with all this stuff we were reading about USOs. Could be one of those, but yeah, so far not really anything suspicious here. I actually took a screenshot of my map, which I'll show you guys right here, just to show you guys how close in proximity we are to Catalina Island. Like I said, we're not on the island, but without actually getting on the island, you can't get much closer than this, unless, I guess we're out on a fishing boat. But it'd be pretty cool if I was able to get some type of UFO footage because, I've had my run-ins with Bigfoots. I've had my fair share of paranormal stuff, but as far as UFOs or aliens, can't really say I've ever had any type of contact or experience with them. So it'd be cool if we see something like that tonight. Another plane up there. I feel like that's the majority of what we're going to be seeing is just planes. You can hear it, I'm assuming, too. Actually, maybe not. I have the filter on, but yeah, it's up there. One thing I will say, too, is, this definitely is a very inconspicuous spot if you were like a UFO or something, because there are so many planes flying through here. Like, literally every, 5 or 10 seconds, there's another plane coming through here. It does suck with, UFOs and aliens, too, because, there's not, a way to, attract them, it's not like Bigfoot or a skinwalker or something. I can't just walk out and be like, oh, I'm out here. Oh, big Mr. Bigfoot, I'm here. Or, make deer calls or something. Not to say I would see anything if I did that either, but, I don't know. There's not really a go-to guide on how to attract aliens, If anything, I feel like they probably don't want to be seen by us, so. What's up, guys? Back home. It's really late. Yeah, so in short, I did try to get some more footage, but I don't know. It just seemed kind of repetitive and stupid to keep being like, there's a plane, that's a plane, that's a plane. So, yeah, unfortunately, looks like we didn't catch anything, which really sucks. I got pretty hyped once I started doing more research and I started looking into the all the UFO stuff associated with Catalina Island, but looks like today just wasn't our day. But who knows? Maybe we'll come back in the future and there's something else we can find.